Outside the Box Reviews, we're taking a look at the DC Collectables Batman Arkham Knight Wave 1 Batman figure. And after picking up the two previous Batman figures from the video game line, I was definitely interested in seeing what this new figure had to offer. From what I could see, it is a pretty cool figure, so let's jump right in. Batman comes with two different accessories here. We get what I believe from the other games looks like the line gun. So this would be the thing where these two little pieces kind of rotated down on these kind of slots here, and they would shoot out the line in either direction that he could slide on. Pretty sure that's what this is, but who knows, it might be different in this new game, but that's my guess. This accessory kind of comes with its own hand to hold it. The two hands that it comes with are very similar, as the knuckle detail on there, nice armored look. But this one you can see the index and middle finger spaced out, and the other two are side by side. And you can kind of follow the pattern on here and see how it's supposed to fit. You can line those up, kind of slide it into place, then you have Batman holding the line gun. It's a pretty nice fit in his hand. It doesn't slide onto the fingers quite as well as I thought. It doesn't go straight coming off of his hand. It kind of comes off at a bit of an angle, but still, it works pretty well. Batman also comes with a Batarang. Very cool looking. You can see it looks like it's designed to fold. This piece doesn't actually fold, but it has that look to it. Some nice holes drilled in there, and then a nice silver edge along the sharp looking sides of it. Very cool looking Batarang. Really like the look here. And Batman's other left hand is designed to hold this one. The hand's a little more closed off than the line gun hand. It'll hold the Batarang just fine. And it also fits in his right hand just as well. Since I have the hands off for the accessories, I could show you that it just slides right back into the gauntlet. Really easy, very nice tight fit. Kind of reminds me of something you'd see on some of the higher end collectibles. So really nicely done switching out of hands there. As for the sculpted detail, I'm going to say right now, I don't like the design of this Batman from an aesthetic standpoint as much as I like that Arkham Origins version, but it's very cool looking. This figure has a lot more kind of exaggerated proportions. I feel like his limbs are a bit longer and he looks a little bit more like he's out of a comic book. The face is a lot cleaner this time, another clean shaven head. I have heard people complain about the coloration of his lips. It does look kind of bad here on camera. They look pretty bright pink, but in person, they really don't look that bad. The eyes are nicely done as well. It's got the bat horns coming off. This one's a little crooked on mine, but nothing I don't think I could fix. Some nice detail on the side of the helmet as well. And I say helmet because once again, we kind of have the neck armor, so it's not the traditional cowl. Lots of great detail around the neck too. We got little bits of silver detailing coming down at the bottom. Then we have these shoulder pads, which have a really cool carbon fiber kind of texture to them. Looking very, very nice there. They also have little shoulder pads coming down a bit further that have the same detailing, but these ones on the shoulder feed into the cape on the back. This cape is definitely different because it comes off these shoulder joints. It doesn't drape over the shoulders like the previous versions do. It comes a lot more straight off the back. Kind of have this shape here at the top, and it comes down, another little bit of detailed shape in there, and flares out at the bottom. Now this is interesting though, because it doesn't come down all the way to the ground. Of course you could pose Batman in a crouch down position where it would work, where this flare is coming into play, but standing at full height it comes to about his ankles, so it's not really dragging on the ground. There's no real reason for it to flare out like that. The cape's flexible enough that I don't feel like they really needed to add that. It would have done it on its own, I believe, but whatever, it's not a big drawback. We do get some cool armor detail underneath the cape. Very cool, especially for a section of the figure you're not going to see much of. And coming around to the front, I do like the armored look they've gone with. Heavier panel lines, we get the silver rivets, and really dark black areas mixed with the charcoal gray. The bat logo across the chest looking very cool. The arms continue that armored look. The tiniest gauntlets I think we've got in this entire series, with a lot of silver on them. These spikes coming off of it. I almost wonder if these will shoot out or something like they showed in the Nolan Batman films, because they're very small, kind of dagger looking. Already looked at the hands. He's got his gold utility belt again with a series of pouches going through it. It's a muted gold and does have some silver thrown in, so it's not quite as gaudy as some of the versions of the bat belts have been in the past. This one doesn't feature the colored underpants, which is kind of nice, though he does have some different textures and colors going through his suit. It's kind of like a fish scale looking texture in his inner thigh there, and different little stripes going through his body. And come down, he's got his shin guards here. Very mechanical look. I guess that fits with the Arkham Knight idea. And then the scuff marks all through them. And then really nicely done feet. Nice glossy black with that silver over top of it. And this figure does have peg holes in both feet. For articulation, this figure is actually better than the Arkham Origins version. His head has a much better range of motion. It goes very far up. Not really much down, but the up motion is great. Could also swivel side to side. It's a little tight, but that's good on a figure like this, as well as tilt. Shoulders are on a pin socket joint. This carbon fiber shoulder pad is rubberized, so it will actually get out of the way. You can maneuver it, so it's not really a hindrance. So you get a great range of motion there. You also have a rotation at the upper bicep, of a double jointed elbow, which is really cool. The wrists will swivel as well as hinge, which is fantastic. Got a nice ab crunch here with a great range of motion, as well as a swivel at the waist. The leg joints, really nice as well. Will go pretty far forward, not too much back, really nicely out to the side. Will also swivel at the upper thigh. Get a nice double jointed knee. The ankle will go very far forward and back, as well as pivot. And it actually looks like it swivels here at the top, so you can get a really crazy range of motion out of this ankle here. And here for comparison, we have all 4 of my 7-inch scale Batman figures. From the left, we have the Arkham City, then we have Arkham Origins, then we have NECA's Batman 1989 figure, and then we have this new Arkham Knight. Now, the Batman 1989 figure is definitely an outlier, being made by a completely different company and having very different proportions to it. But these other 3, all from DC Direct or DC Collectables, or whatever moniker they had at the time, do look pretty different from each other. They're all based on Batman from a video game series that was, I believe each installment was made by the same company, but we go from a very cartoony looking Arkham City version to a very gritty looking Origins to a very shiny looking Arkham Knight figure. And honestly, the distance between the Arkham City and the Arkham Origins figure, I felt was an increase in attention to detail and an increase in skill in making an action figure. It felt like a natural progression. But the Arkham Knight figure is definitely a very stylistically different figure than the others. The look of it reminds me of something more like you'd see in a Japanese import figure. It just doesn't look like it belongs with those other 2, which is interesting because they're putting out a box set with all the different incarnations of Batman throughout the Arkham series. So it would be interesting to see how those all look together. I do wonder if they'll modify the other Batmen to fit this aesthetic a bit more. And yeah, I can get that kicking pose I love so much out of this Arkham Knight version. And yeah, I really like this Arkham Knight version of Batman. He's very cool looking. Aesthetically, I don't think he's nearly as cool as the Arkham Origins. I just like that grittier feel. In a way, it felt more realistic to me. This is definitely a more fantastical, comic booky version of Batman, but it's cool in its own right. It has a definite cool factor to it, and it's gonna get a recommend. A pretty strong recommend, too. I don't know if this is gonna make it into my top figures of the year, but definitely gets a solid recommendation. Definitely a cool looking figure. I hope the game lives up to as cool as it looks, because it looks pretty badass. Make sure you follow me on Instagram, username Outside the Box Reviews. Also follow me on Facebook, link below. And until next time, it's been our Outside the Box Reviews. Stay tuned for more to come.